Welcome to Mediabistro.com's Media Beat. I'm Danya Blaze, and we are here with Marissa Mayer. She is the Vice President of Consumer Products at Google. Marissa, again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So I want to talk about your career. You've called yourself a geek. You said, I grew up a geek, I've always been a geek. And you're Google's first female engineer. Why do you think more women don't enter the technology field? Or are they there and we just don't see them?
Well, there are going to be more and more, but I think that one of the things that happened for me is I am a geek. I never realized it was strange for a girl to be interested in math and science, and so I sort of went into technology without even realizing that I was an exception. I think we need more of that. I think we need to get to a place where girls realize if they're good at math and science, that engineering, be it environmental engineering or computer science or chemical engineering, mechanical engineering, a lot of these engineering fields are great places to work. There's a lot of exciting opportunities. And I think, for example, as the internet becomes more and more pervasive, more part of everyone's daily lives, it really helps people understand, oh, this is what I would do if I worked in this industry. So I think that this is a problem at the moment, but I think it's something that will get solved over time.
And I was reading that you had 12 job offers when you got ready to graduate from Stanford. How did you decide to go with Google, which at that time was, just a couple guys with this great idea?
I think that one, it's important to put in the context that this was 1999, so it was the height of the first internet bubble, hence the multitude of job offers. It was interesting. I sat down. I'm always been very analytical. I love data. I think that's one of the things that I really has drawn me and to Google and has made it such a good fit for all these years. But I had my 14 job offers, and I wrote this matrix up, and we had things like, what my salary was, what the stock options, what was the trajectory of the company, what would my career trajectory be. I had this friend who was very good at analysis. He's an economist, so we were making these, charts and all these different things, and we analyzed it for a few hours, and at midnight it was so confusing that I remember just collapsing into tears and just being like, I just don't even know what to think, right? And my friend Andre said to me, Marissa, he's like, you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself to pick the right choice. He's like, and I've got to be honest, that's not what I see here. He's like, I see a bunch of good choices, and then there's the one that you pick and make great. Wow. And he's like, and I think that's actually, I think one of the best pieces of advice I've ever gotten. I think that a lot of times, people, really people who are very driven put a lot of pressure on themselves to pick the right thing, as opposed to realizing that a lot of times you have a lot of good options, and then there's the one that you commit to, and the path that you take, and then that you make great. And I think that kind of ties into my view on mistakes. Have I made mistakes? Yes, I've made hundreds of mistakes in my career, but I think that part of it is you commit to the path that you've taken, and you try and learn from your mistakes and grow from them over time.
What are some benefits you think working for a startup give versus a big established company?
Well, I think whenever you're looking at a job, one of the things to look at is, what ultimately do you want to learn? So, for example, I was looking at different roles across teaching, management consulting, large tech companies, small tech companies. But one of the things I looked at was, would I be in the room where the decisions get made? Right? And so, that's really, I think, what's important. And that can happen for you at a big company, that can happen for a small company. But I realized that as much as I really value management consulting and I thought it would be a great experience and I was really excited about it, one of the things that happens is you go and you give advice and then you leave the room. And then the decision gets made. And I realized that getting a chance to come to Google, where these guys wanted to build a Fortune 500 company, even though there were only 8 people when I first met them, and said, wow, like, I give them very low odds of, of succeeding, but greater than anybody else, and I just have a feeling that I'll learn more working there with them, getting a chance to see how these decisions get made, even if we fail, right? I would learn more there failing than I would other places succeeding, and that's what really drew me to the role. And so I think that getting to be in the room where decisions get made, how do you grow a company? How do you build a company? How do you make these decisions? How do you decide to do a deal with Yahoo or AOL? Or how do you decide to roll out a new product? Those are the things that I think ultimately help people build their insights and instincts on how to grow a great business.
Right, that's good. That's great advice. There's word now that there's going to be a movie based on Ken Auletta's book, Googled. Is there a character in there that's based on you? Do you know?
I have no idea. I hope not.
Well, Marissa, I appreciate you coming, taking time out of your schedule to be here. This is Marissa Mayer. She is the Vice President of Consumer Products for Google. It's been a pleasure having you and some really great advice there, so make sure you pay attention to that. This has been Media Beat on MediaBistro.com. Thank you for watching.